Welcome to This Explainer. Look, so many people treat their 40s as just the calm middle of the story, a time to just kind of coast. But honestly, that assumption quietly wrecks so many retirements. It's not the middle of the race. Your 40s are the absolute critical hinge decade that mathematically decides your entire retirement future. Picture this. Two identical 45-year-olds earning, let's say, $90,000 today. From the outside, their lives look exactly the same. Same suburbs, same cars. But jump forward 22 years from now and one wakes up to automated income, spending the morning just deciding which grandchild to visit. The other, they're still setting an alarm, still doing mental math on whether their car can survive another winter. So what happened? That massive fork in the road didn't happen in their 60s. It happened right now, in their 40s. All right, to tackle this, we're breaking it down into 6 actionable chapters. 1, the hinge decade. 2, the real starting line. 3, the lifestyle creep trap. 4, the 2026 catch-up toolkit. 5, avoiding costly mistakes. And finally, 6, the Social Security reality. Let's jump right into section 1, the hinge decade, the arithmetic of time. Okay, the reason your 40s matter so much actually has almost nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with how money grows in a curve. Have you ever heard of the rule of 72? It's fascinating. Basically, if you divide 72 by a conservative 7% average market return, you'll see your money doubles exactly every 10 years. Just sit with that for a second. A dollar invested at age 45 has about 22 years before a typical retirement at 67. That means it can double again, and start a third double. But a dollar invested at 55, it barely manages one full double before you need to spend it. To put that into perspective, giving that identical dollar a 10-year head start generates a staggering $200,000 difference. We are talking about the exact same $500 a month out of pocket. Literally, the only thing that changed was starting at 45 instead of waiting until 55 just because life felt a little too busy. Your 40s are the last stretch of road where those incredibly valuable compounding years are still fully available to you. Moving on to section 2, the real starting line, expectation versus reality. Because let's be real, you cannot navigate from a map that's lying to you. I want to ask you a serious question. Behind closed doors, how much wealth has the typical 40-something actually accumulated? We all feel this quiet pressure, right? Like everyone else has it completely figured out, and we somehow missed the memo. Well, let's look at the real numbers. You'll see news articles out there claiming the average 40-something has around $168,000. But wait, that's because a few mega millionaires are dragging that average way, way up. The median, meaning the person standing dead center in the middle of the pack, only has about $61,000. So if you're looking at that classic planner target of having 3 times your salary by age 40 and feeling kind of sick about it, take comfort in the fact that half of your peers are in the exact same boat. You're perfectly normal. But it also means your 40s are no longer optional. They are your vital catch-up window. Let's get into section 3, the lifestyle creep trap, visualizing the squeeze. Your 40s are usually your peak earning years. You'd think more money coming in makes saving easier, but usually the exact opposite happens. It's the silent trap of lifestyle creep. You get a raise, and suddenly a bigger house feels totally reasonable. The kids start expensive travel sports. Listen, nobody looks at an upgraded kitchen and thinks, hey, I just traded 10 years of my retirement for granite countertops. But actually, that is exactly the trade being made. Right now, the average saver is putting away about 7.7%, which is roughly half of the 15% target. The goal here isn't to live miserably. It's simply to let your spending rise slower than your income rises. You have to widen that margin. All right, section 4, the 2026 catch-up toolkit, tax buckets, and new limits. The system is literally handing you a massive new shovel to dig out of the gap here. In 2026, the rules completely shift in your favor and let you sprint. The standard 401k limit is climbing to $24,500. But if you are over 50, you get a massive $32,500 catch-up shelter. Now, a quick heads up, if you earn over $150,000, those catch-up contributions have to go into a Roth, meaning you pay the tax up front, but you get tax-free growth later. But here's the reality check. Nobody just flips a magic switch from saving 4% to maxing out $32,000 overnight at age 50. You've got to build that savings muscle right now, in your 40s. And then there's the HSA. Honestly, this is arguably the most efficient, wildly overlooked retirement bucket in the entire tax code. It offers a super rare triple tax break. Money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free as long as it's for medical expenses. And believe me, you are absolutely going to need that HSA. Get this, a single 65-year-old is projected to spend an astonishing $172,500 on healthcare alone during retirement. And no, that number doesn't even include long-term care or nursing homes. Most people brace for maybe, I don't know, $75,000, leaving a massive six-figure gap that hits at your absolute most vulnerable moment. Your 40s are the time to feed that HSA, invest it, and let it grow so it's locked and loaded when those bills arrive. Section 5. Avoiding costly mistakes, panic, leakage, and the sandwich squeeze. Getting the money in is really only half the battle. Keeping it there is where most folks stumble. You are likely caught in what we call the sandwich generation squeeze. A mortgage, kids heading to college, aging parents needing care. It is brutal. The loud, nearby needs are screaming at you, while your future self is totally silent. But you must ruthlessly prioritize your own retirement foundation over your kids' college. Why? Because there is no scholarship for being 70 and broke. A child who graduates with some loans but has financially secure parents is in a way better position than one who graduates debt-free but has to financially support their parents later. Plus, there are behavioral traps you just cannot afford to spring. When you change jobs in your 40s, do not, under any circumstances, cash out your 401k. Between taxes and the 10% penalty, you get absolutely crushed mathematically. You're shrinking your final balance by 20%. Roll it over. And hey, when the market drops, don't panic sell and move to cash. You literally just lock in your losses and completely miss the recovery. Just set it, let it grow, and let the dull, dependable power of staying invested do the heavy lifting. And finally, Section 6, the Social Security reality, defining the floor. We have to look honestly at the safety net most people falsely assume will just carry them. Social Security is designed only as a floor. It pays an average of just $24,000 a year. For anyone born after 1960, full retirement age is 67. If you claim early at 62, you take a permanent 30% pay cut for the rest of your life. Ask yourself right now, does the life you want at age 70 run on 24 grand a year? For most of us, it's not even close. Social Security is the slab of the house, not the walls and the roof. Your own accumulated savings simply have to cover that gap.
So what's the actual blueprint here? Well, the comfortable retiree didn't win the lottery. They made boring, mathematically correct choices in their 40s. They captured 100% of their employer match, which, by the way, is literal free money. They turned on a 1% automatic escalation so their savings grew in the background without needing fresh willpower every single year. When they got a raise, they widened their margin instead of immediately upgrading their lifestyle. And they strategically used their pre-tax Roth and HSA buckets.
Here is the undeniable truth. You can always try to add more money later, but you can literally never add back time. You don't have to be wealthy, brilliant, or lucky to pull this off, but you do need to stop drifting. That stressed retiree from the very beginning of our explainer, they weren't careless. They were just asleep at the wheel through the one decade that decided their future on their behalf. To wrap up this explainer, remember that your 40s are the hinge. They're the absolute last decade where money and time are both still in your hands at full strength. The pen is still in your hand. So look at the numbers, secure your foundation, widen your margins, and decide right now, what kind of future are you going to write?